Oh, Celestia, you're running late. Why did you ever think it would be a good idea to reorganize your library only an hour before the party? Wait, why are you late for the party and why are you reorganizing a library? Oh, it's 'cause you're Twilight Sparkle now. Being Twilight Sparkle, you'd been looking forward to giving Anon a visit to see how things were going. It then occurred to you that your last swing by didn't end so well, so you put that on the back burner. Then Pinkie Pie comes and tells you she's throwing a party, or a series of them, and that Anon was coming. Imagine your excitement. You were so amped up to talk to him about what he was reading, and how he was doing, that you didn't even think to check the time, and you decided to formulate a new organizational system and rework the castle library. Of course, one thing led to another, and once you started the reorganizing process, you couldn't really stop. Now it's 5 minutes into the party and you're going to look like such an idiot for showing up late. What will Anon think of you? Hopefully not that you're a bad friend for showing up tardy to his party. You need to bring him an offering. No, there's no time. But there will be time after the party, right? Hey Anon, wanna come back to my place after? I have tea. Smooth. Yeah, that'll work. You're such a good friend. Spike! You call out, approaching the main door. Your assistant comes running into the lobby, holding a comic book. What's up, Twilight? I need you to have some tea ready for when I get back. Sure thing. The good stuff. Top shelf? Top shelf. His eyes widen, followed by a slow nod. Alright, enough dawdling. You need to go. You rush out of the castle and start your way to Sugar Cube Corner. Lucky for you, it's only 3 blocks away. At a full gallop, it doesn't take you more than a minute to get there. Pinkie Pie's false gingerbread house stands before you, shaking with the sound of music. What should you do now? Prepare a speech apologizing for being tardy? No, that's dumb. He'd understand being late. Heck, even Pinkie would. She probably wouldn't get all deflated mane on you. Again. Okay, maybe you'll have a speech on backup. You enter the shop and instantly are assaulted by the sound of confetti and hooves. Hi, Twilight! Hello, Pinkie. I see everything's going well. It's better than that. This party is rockin'! She grabs your hoof and shows you around the store, showing you all the areas. And this is for when Anon killed the Manticore. Did you see that? I was there, Pinkie, you giggle. Oh, duh! What an excited pony. The next stop is the hospital section. There are balloons matching the colors of the hospital, and even a bed. Wow, that's some good papier-mâché skills. You trot over and touch it with a hoof. Funny, it's cold and hard like a real bed. Wait a minute. It is a real bed. Pinkie, did you steal this from the hospital? You crane your neck to search for her, but the pony is nowhere to be seen. Pinkie? Nope. Oh, your heart almost jumps out of your chest as Pinkie drops from the ceiling with an axe, chopping into the bed mere inches from your face. Pinkie Pie, what did I tell you about playing with sharp objects? You shout at her. But Twilight, it's not a manticore slaying without axes. Give me that. Your horn glows as you prepare a teleportation spell. In another second, the axe is gone, locked away in your castle. Darn! Now what will I cut the cakes with? You'll figure it out. Somewhat slower than the last 2 times, she leads you over to the final section of the party. Good thing she showed you this. You'd have no idea otherwise. Having finished showing you around, Pinkie Pie hops away to do Celestia knows what else. You assume she's going to find another way to cut a cake that doesn't involve knives. Well, you hope that's what she's doing. Let's be real here. She's probably going to use a knife. Wouldn't be a problem if she weren't so hyper. Get over it, Twilight. That's not why you're here. You scan the busy room looking for Anon. Aha! There he is, standing above all the other ponies, like a big green thumb. Excuse me, pardon me, coming through, you mutter, passing by hordes of equines. The closer you get, the more anxious you become. Your voice raises in tandem, and Anon takes notice. He turns his head and meets your eyes. His smile wavers for a moment. Darn it, you knew he'd be mad at you for being late. Stupid, stupid, stupid. Hi, Anon. Twilight. Look, I'm sorry for coming late. Important princess duties came up I had to tend to before I showed up. I know you must be torn up about it, but I'm really sorry. His eyebrow raises slowly. Anon, you didn't tell me you knew Princess Twilight. Oh, yeah, Twilight. This is Greymane. Greymane, this is Twilight. Who? You examine the unicorn at Anon's side. He extends a hoof to you. Out of instinct, you do the same and nod. I'm new to town. I'd gathered that much. Who are you? What brings you here? Did that sound aggressive? I mean, wait, I'm sorry, that didn't come out right. I got what you meant. I'm just a unicorn from a small village on the other side of Mount Dawn. Really? I haven't been around that side of the mountain too often. What's it like? Quiet. Greymane here was just telling me about the magic school in his village. A magic school on the other side of Mount Dawn? I've never heard of any. That's because it's run out of the Elder's house. It's nothing fancy, really. It's just a bunch of foals going to hear tales about old sorcerers and learn basic magic skills. Isn't that fucking dandy? Some hick town in East Bumfuck, and they still manage to teach those little Helians a thing or two about magic. Just can't get away from the stuff. You're just upset that you don't have any. The color drains from your face. Greymane, you fool. That unicorn just stepped on the ultimate mine. Yeah? Well, you're lucky I don't break that horn off and shove it up your ass. I bet you'd like that. Hold on a second here. What is this wizardry? You know darn well if you'd said that, Anon would throw a fit before storming out and locking himself in his house for a few days. Maybe he's not upset about it anymore? He's had a lot of time to cope with the fact that he's the only thing in the world to be completely and utterly magicless. Yeah, that's it. He's in such a good mood because he's finally accepted he's totally inept in the field of magic. This is your chance, Twilight. So, Anon, I was thinking after the party you might like to come back to the castle with me. I have tea. Oh, man, you know, I sure would love to, Twilight, but Greymane said he needs help getting settled at his place. Oh, you pause. I see. Now, hold on. I said I wanted some help. Who am I to come between the princess and her friend? Go with her. Anon looks pleadingly at the stallion and receives no help. You know you can be gullible at times, but you're not an idiot. He could at least try to hide his distress a little better. You're not so bad, are you? After not too long, Anon sighs and nods at you. When do you want to go? I don't want to rush you. Let's leave when you're ready. Sure thing, he says and takes a bite off the chips on his plate. The party carries about as normally as any Pinkie Pie party could. The snacks never run out, the drinks never run out, Barry stumbles out, and then comes the cake. Your eyes widen as the pink hostess carts out 3 enormous desserts, each one matching the designated themes. Baking these must have taken all morning. One can certainly appreciate her dedication to her craft. Oh God. You dash over and take the axe, which you don't know how she got out of your castle from her, before she can cause a disaster while trying to chop the cakes into slices. What did I tell you? But Twilight, she moans, it's for the party. No axes. Goodness, you could have mauled someone. I'd be real careful, honest. How does Fluttershy do it? You pull her stare from your memories and try your darndest to mimic it, but you probably just look more like a deer in the headlights of the Friendship Express than anything else. Despite your shortcomings, she submits and goes to find another cutting instrument. This time, she arrives with a knife. Not ideal given her history, but it's better than the scene that played out in your head last time. You poof the axe back to your castle, hoping it will stay out of her reach, and get yourself a piece of cake. Anon appears in your side and reaches for one. His hand stops short of it, though, and he pulls it away, leaving the confection to the tray. Something wrong? Not hungry, I guess, he mutters and retreats. Anon exits, waving goodbye to that Greymane fellow. Fearing you're fast losing him, you stuff the whole slice into your mouth and dash out after him. Your throat strains to accommodate the massive load. Luckily, the creamy white frosting helps to lubricate your mouth as it slides down into your stomach, leaving your throat only slightly sore from the experience. You burst out the door and break into a gallop, hoping to reach him before he makes it too far. Twilight, where are you going? Now hold on a gosh darn minute. You dig your hooves into the dirt and skid to a stop. Turning back, you find Anon leaning against the building just a few feet away from the door. I thought you left. Why? Because you left. I just needed some air. What, did you think I was going to ditch you? Yes. No. Come on, I may not have magic, but that doesn't mean I'm uncivilized. Trotting up to him, you place a hoof on his leg and rub it. I never implied that you were. Whatever. Look, I'm done in there. Do you want to go? I'm ready, you beam. The two of you start on your way to the castle. He seems to not want to add anything to the conversation, but you do get him to go on for a bit about how he's sustaining himself on the edge of town the way he does. If he'd just open up a little bit more, being a good friend wouldn't be so difficult. As it stands, he's setting himself up to be quite the challenge. I thought I was doing so good, you mumble. What's that? Nothing. Oh look, we're here. You instinctively flare up your horn to open the door, but before you can move the knob, he grabs it and swings it open himself. Since he opened, you step aside and let Anon pass through first. He enters the castle without hesitation and looks around. Wow, it sure has been a while since I've been here. Yeah, almost 2 days. That's 2 weeks in dog time. Spike! You shout. Where's that tea? Coming! He replies. In a minute, the little dragon appears with a tray topped with the essentials. What's up, little buddy? Anon, I didn't know you were coming over. He fumbles with the tea set. After finding balance on one hand, your assistant begins to shine his head scales. Sorry, I'm a mess. Don't sweat it, kid. I haven't taken a bath in a week either. That's gross. You're short. Anon swipes the tea set from Spike. Now scram. Anon, be nice. Spike, you're free to go. With a salute, your little dragon scampers off to, you assume, play with that weird little card game with his friends. Anon scans the main hall, and after finding it empty save for one rug, squints down at the tray. I didn't think this through. There's a table in the other room. That'll do. You escort him to your study. It's not the other room per se, but it is another room. Look, the point is you have comfy chairs and a table in there. Anon sets a tray down and begins to pour himself a cup of still hot tea. You still take 3 sugar cubes? Oh, it's for you. That's right. As he prepares your cup, you start on his. Afterwards, you two trade and lean back in the cushiony surfaces of your respective chairs. So, how are you? He takes a sip of the still steaming tea. Ouch. The temperature doesn't seem to bother him, since he gives a nod of approval. Top shelf? Top shelf. I'm flattered. So what? How are you? Oh, I don't know. I'm alive. A grunt escapes your lips as you take a sip from your own cup once it's cooled. You're upset about something. Aren't we all? Alright, fine. Clearly you don't want to open up to me. Oh, don't get moody. I'm not the moody one. Your attitude's been everywhere lately. Shouldn't you be a little more excited that everyone finally accepts you? They accept me because I nearly got nixed by a lion scorpion freak of nature while trying to save their squishy asses. What's wrong with that? Everyone needs to prove themselves at some point. You keep overlooking the obvious fact here, Twilight. I'm lucky to be alive. Your face scrunches in confusion. You still don't get it? Did you want to die or something? I'm not strong enough, Twilight. I'm just not. If I had magic, there wouldn't be any lucky to be alive, because there wouldn't have been an issue. But you don't have magic. That's not a bad thing. You set your teacup over and wrap Anon in a telekinetic field. Hovering the human over, you set him down next to him, squeezing together in the chair. Your hoof taps on his chest, where you approximate the human heart to be. And since you're such a great guy, that must mean magic doesn't mean anything. What if I chopped off your horn? Excuse me? What if you woke up one day and realized you didn't have any magical power whatsoever? Well, that's very different from your situation. I would have actually lost something. You never had it to begin with. Think about what you just said. I didn't mean that how it sounded. I know what you meant. Think about it, though. Wouldn't you be at a disadvantage? Well, yeah, I would be. Magic is my special talent. You don't have any special talent, Anon. You're good at everything. I've never seen someone with a skill set as varied as yours. And none of it could help me against that manticore. You were right, Twilight. You were right all along. Now, while I love being told I'm right, I'd rather it be actually true. No, If you're trying to get on my good side, you can do it by just talking to me more. Twilight, he starts, his eyes peering into yours as if searching for the right words. After a while, he seems to give up on what he was about to say. Look, let's change the topic. Read anything fun lately? You'd like to talk to him more about how he's feeling, but you suppose it can wait. Why, yes. Have you ever read Grapes of Harmony? Is that anything like Grapes of Wrath? What? Nothing. Well, it's an interesting story. You see, I already know what it's going to be about, and I can tell you now it's not anything like a fun read. Killjoy. Let's see, would he like Catcher in the Wheat? Probably not. That was pretty boring even by your standards. Oh, you know. You smile and hover open a certain book off one of the shelves lining the walls in your study. I recently finished this. What is it? A book on magical artifacts. His face seems to lighten up as he takes it out of your telekinetic grip. I always wondered about these things. How does the enchantment last without a power source? It can't possibly be a charm. There is no power source. So it's a charm? Nope. Twilight, you're talking crazy. You giggle and open the book up to Oswald's Divine Wheel. There's a picture of it, well, a painting, since the actual wheel has been lost to time, taking up the first half of the page. What am I looking at? With your hoof, you paint the markings along the wheel. Runes? So it's a wheel that comes with instructions. No, silly, the runes aren't there to describe a spell, they are the spell. Magical artifacts are made of an ancient form of enchantment called spellbinding. Go on. Well, basically you inscribe the runes of whatever spell you want into an object. There's some sort of ritual involved, but afterwards the runes will be fused to the object and draw in magic from the air to power themselves. So you're telling me an ordinary stick off the ground can be inscribed with a telekinesis spell and move a mountain? Of course not. Why not? You can. Because I happen to have a very large magical well. Runes only draw in so much power on their own. He examines the wheel on the page. In frustration, he points to the runes you made obvious to him before. Then what makes this so special? There are runes. Why is this spell so strong? What makes most magical artifacts stand out from the other spellbound items is that they were made by powerful sorcerers. It's not just how many runes go on an object, but the quality of them. What do you mean, how many? Well, if one rune can draw in a little bit of magic, then shouldn't two be able to draw in twice as much? He nods slowly. So if you wrote enough, they wouldn't need to be high quality, and the power of one of these magical artifacts through quantity. Theoretically, I've never heard of an object having more than 3 inscriptions, and that was by Starswirl himself. You keep saying object. Well, yes, you can only spellbind objects. It won't work with living creatures. Has it ever been tried? You grimace as your mind goes back to your lessons with Celestia. She showed you much about magic and its history. The thing about history is that it's not always good. Blackmane's disciples dabbled in it. I'll give you one guess as to how it ended. I see. He closes the book loudly and sets it down next to the chair. So, what have you been up to lately? Oh, wow. Is he trying to start a real conversation? It's not even a ploy to change the topic. This is groundbreaking. A smile spreads across your face, and you begin to tell him all about your recent endeavors to set up a small magic school in Ponyville. He nods and chirps in every once in a while, giving suggestions as to how you might advertise or how to run a school in conjunction with your princess duties. You even offer him a job on the premise that if it opens, he'd be the first teacher there. Thanks, but let's cross that bridge when we get to it. You sure? I pay well. Well, and what? Hugs? I do have a treasury, you know. How much is in it? 5 bits? You scoff. How dare he assume you're so poor? There's at least 300 in there. What? You were a librarian before this, and it's not like you get paid much right now. You're the princess of a concept, not a kingdom. What are you going to tax? The ideas? Before you know it, the moon is high overhead. Dang. Looks like I better get going. Are you sure? I mean, there's plenty of spare rooms you can sleep over. I'd like to, but the last time I was out of the house for too long, my garden was ransacked. Should really be there to deter the ne'er-do-wells. Understandable, you guess. Relenting, you get up and see him out. You offer to walk him home, but he says something about not wanting to keep such an important pony up into the late hours. Anon leans over and pets you on the head before leaving. Once he's out of sight, you figure it's time to close the door and go off to bed. Oh wait, you have to clean up. Moving back to the study, you move the chairs back into place and the stray teacups onto the tray for Spike to handle in the morning. Then there's the books to put away. You manage most of them, but one seems to be missing. Perhaps you just misplaced it when you put it back last time. Funny, you don't remember putting it back at all. You'll just have to tear the study apart to look for it tomorrow. No book of magical artifacts is going to disappear on your watch. No siree. Well, it's time for bed now. Good night, study. Something doesn't feel right. You're large, white, and have a flowing ethereal mane. Wait a second. That means you're Celestia. Never mind. Everything's all good here. Well, most everything. And that's why I think taxes on apples should be raised. That message comes after a 23-minute-long speech by a small carrot-colored stallion standing before you. Firstly, Carrot Merritt, I want to say how amazing it is that you came all the way to my castle in Canterlot from Ponyopolis to tell me about this matter. It shows a great deal of character on your part, and I'm sure your family would be very proud of you. The little carrot farmer smirks confidently and puts his chest out. Thank you, Your Highness. I suppose it's pretty impressive of me. Here comes your least favorite part. However, I don't think it's just of me to raise the taxes on apples for the reasons you listed. Merritt's smile vanishes. It is replaced by a look of despair. But, Princess, he stutters, my reasons are great! The reasons you gave me were just 68 different ways of saying the Apple family in Ponyville is beating you in sales and you want to crush their farm. Is that so wrong? Not on its own, no. Competition between businesses is a wonderful thing that drives innovation and makes life easier for the masses. That said, it's not my place as ruler to snuff out one side of that competition. Merritt hangs his head and bows to you. I understand, Princess. Thank you for your time. And thank you for your visit. I wish your farm the best. He leaves dejected, probably thinking some nasty things about you right now. Right as he leaves, the next pony enters your court. This one is a tall, slender stallion in a very creative suit. You certainly would never think those colors would go together, partially because they can't, but that's besides the point. Hello, Princess Celestia. My name is Rob Yaquella, and I'm a traveling sales pony. Boy, have I got a deal for you today. Let me tell you about some towels. Oh no. This again? You almost want to kick him out right there for being the 6,000th pony this year to try and sell you something. But you power through and pleasantly nod. About halfway through his speech, he's getting to the part about how germains always make good stuff. A certain scroll appears out of a burst of green fire just a foot away from you. Your smile turns genuine, and you signal the guard to close off the court for the next bit. So what do you say? Can I put you down for 4 orders right now? Thank you, but I have plenty of towels. Yes, but these are special ones. You can't find towels like these just anywhere. Thank you, Rob. I'll remember your company if I ever need more. As it stands, I do not require your services. Are you sure? I've got some with me. Goodbye, Rob. Give me a call, Princess. I'll be here faster than you can say, "Where'd my wallet go?" The stallion turns and trots out, his hooves sounding on the marble floor to the court. When another pony tries to enter through the large oak doors he left through, your armored guard thrusts their hoof out and stops them in their tracks. The princess is busy. It'll only take 5 minutes. The princess is busy. Pretty please, we came all the way from the outer lands just for this audience. Goodness, that is quite the walk. The princess is busy. Please leave. My son just wants a word. He's with the Form a Wish Foundation. Well, a lot of ponies are. He has cancer. Have mercy. In the heart. Let them through, you shout to the guard across the room. Okay, so that was the last pony. Now to read Twilight's letter. Hello, dear sister. Hello, Luna. Ah, good. She's easy to tune out. You open the letter and begin reading as Luna starts on. It's always the typical, oh, woe is me, my hooves hurt. Nobody loves me. I met this cute stallion stuff. Oh, dear sister, we do so miss thy company at night. 'Tis utterly boring without thee. Our hooves also ache. See? Now, let's get on with the good stuff. Dear Princess Celestia, I know it's been a while since I last wrote to you. I apologize for my silence and resolve to start communicating more often once again. But alas, we do not understand thou to be so tired after long days of tending to the needs of the massed. Wherefore art thou, favourite dear sister? 'Tis for thy mane? Ours is just as luxurious and thrice and starry. I'm sorry I have to admit this isn't a letter written out for you, but in need of you. I've encountered a friendship problem in Ponyville, and I seem to lack the skills to solve it on my own. I've tried everything I could think of, drawn upon the lessons I've learned during my stay in Ponyville, and I just can't figure it out. Oh, you see. Not thought of you, but need of you. 'Tis not all bad, we must admit. We had both the acquaintance of a rather fetching stallion recently. What a striking fellow he is. Thou might like to see him too, no? Yes, that's nice. I'll see you at dinner, Luna. Goodbye. Fare thee well, sister of ours. We shall reunite before thee with a feast. You can already predict where this letter is going to end, but there's no harm in seeing it through. So, it is with great humility that I request an audience with you in order to iron out the kinks of this friendship issue. Please respond at your earliest opportunity. Sincerely, your student, Twilight Sparkle. Now, where did you put your quill? Is it still in your bedroom? After casting a homing spell and finding out that it was actually underneath your chair your whole time, you take your trusty rusty pen and begin to write a reply on a fresh sheet of parchment. Dear Twilight Sparkle, it is with great pleasure that I receive your letter. I understand that it must be hard trying to face a new challenge without any idea of what to do. but I'm sure that if you try your best, you'll see that this is a horrible letter and I need to write a new draft. Next sheet. Dear Twilight, it is with great pleasure that I misspell a word and have to start all over. Third time's a charm, right? Dear Twilight Sparkle, it is with great pleasure that I receive your letter and write this response. My duties to the ponies of Equestria bind me to court for the time being, but once I am through with my royal responsibilities on the throne, I would be more than happy to discuss your issue in person over brunch. I'll only be another 2 hours. Do reply if there are complications on your end. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you in time for biscuits. Yours faithfully, Celestia. There, that should do it. Me oh my, this'll be a wonderful day indeed. Some of the complaints you've heard today are new. The royal cushion has been cleaned, pressed, and fluffed, and now you'll have Twilight over to visit. It's only been, what, a month since you've heard from her? You wonder what she's been up to. That's not to say you don't know, generally speaking. Of course you hear about her princess business and the occasional letter about her dream magic school. But this'll be a nice cup of tea between friends, though. You can certainly appreciate that. You send your letter out and have the guards open up once more, letting the next wave of ponies in. The creativity seems to be gone from the next bunch. It's all things you've seen and heard before, in the same day. Most of them are solved with an explanation of it not being your place as ruler to meddle in such affairs. One pony came in asking to conscript a bakery shop to always bake cakes, even if it's not their specialty or brand. As much as you want everyone to get along, who are you to dictate that sort of thing? The answer to that question is simple. You're someone who's tried it before. One can learn a lot by looking at history. They can learn even more by being a part of it. Anyway, day court runs out as the sun moves past its highest point. The court begins to get busy again, but a different kind. Now it's filled with servants cleaning, guards locking it down as you depart, only to return tomorrow to a sparkling marble room, glistening in the morning light that breaks down through the stained glass wall behind the throne. Now, knowing Twilight, she should be here any minute. Not wanting to look like a bad host, you begin to prepare the food and drink right away. A few homing spells locate the various ingredients for the biscuits all the way in the kitchen. As you make your way up through the kitchen into the balcony overlooking Canterlot, you set everything up to cook, including a pot of water over some mini-suns. Only small ones, nothing that would burn or cause cancer. Well, not too much cancer. You were sure to check that no one was in the kitchen before you cast the spell. Your horn begins to heat up with all the spells being run through it. It didn't even occur to you how many you were casting until your forehead began to sweat from the heat. Multitasking spells has become second nature to you. You arrive at your balcony to find a certain lavender pony waiting for you. At your sight, her face lights up. Twilight runs over to you and wraps you in a hug, but it breaks the next second with an "I'm sorry." "Don't worry," you tell her and extend a hoof, offering her back the spot. She happily accepts and embraces you once more. This is nice. Let's not end it. "How are you, Celestia?" asks your old student as she pulls away once more, content with the hug. Well, it was good while it lasted. "I've been well. And yourself?" "I've been mostly good. It's just this friendship problem that's really bugging me lately." Straight to business. I like that. "Yeah, so do you have a minute?" "Oh, I'm sure I could fit one or two in." It suddenly occurs to you that on your balcony there are no chairs or table. How is one supposed to bask in the warm afternoon sun without tables or chairs? Not easily, that's how. This must be fixed at once. With another flash of magic, you bring a large glass table and two sturdy white chairs into existence. They suddenly lower themselves onto the stone brick and settle. Figuring the food and such is ready, you teleport those up as well and set them on the table over a tray. The biscuits look good enough to be light and fluffy, and the tea is steaming. Not bad, Celestia. Not bad. Lastly, you pull out the chairs, and once both of you are seated, push them in. That'll do it for magic. You shut off the flow to your horn and let the sizzling thing cool down. So, I guess it all started a few months ago. I won't bore you with the details, but basically, by all means, bore me. I won't be finished with this pot for a while yet, you say, pouring yourself your first cup. If you insist, well, once upon a time, a green man suddenly appeared in Equestria. Oh, she's going that far back. You're unsure why, since you were there for a lot of it, but whatever, no sense in turning down a story. She spends a lot of time catching up to the present. Present being the last week when she had him over for a party. And I thought it was going really well. We talked all night about so many things, but then he left suddenly. He said we'd talk again, and I haven't seen him since. I've tried to get in touch, but he just ignores me. Have you tried visiting his house? Several times. Darn, that one usually works. He's stubborn. Sounds like a little filly I used to know. Who? Twilight, you're silly. Elaborate for me. How exactly are you trying to contact him? Well, she starts, setting her cup down to think. I've sent him letters. Plural. Only about 17. About? Okay, 17. I've also sent message ponies directly to his door. Again. Plural? Hey, it's 3 messages for 1 bit. I don't have the economic freedom to turn down a bargain like that. Alright, what else? I've been to his house a few times. You squint at her. 3 times. Twilight. 4. Oh, Twilight, you poor thing. You reach over to the table and pet her mane. She nuzzles your hoof as you stroke her. You're trying so hard to be the best friend that you can be, and I think you may end up worse off for it. What do you mean? Friendship is, in a lot of ways, like a flame. It can guide the lost, give warmth to those who need it, and fuel civilizations. You're a smart girl, Twilight. Tell me what happens when I smother a flame. It goes out. That's right, no matter how backward this may sound. Sometimes friends need space from each other. You're really putting yourself out there for Anon, but there's a chance you may be pushing him away just as hard. Do you really think so? A simple nod serves as your reply. She drops her head onto the table. Luckily, a biscuit takes the impact and nothing breaks. Light and fluffy. Good job, Celestia. I'm such an idiot. No, but you're determined. I think you may do yourself a favor to learn to control that. She giggles and picks her face up. The edges of her eyes are turning red. You pick up a napkin and throw it under them before any tears can form. It breaks your heart to see her torn up over this fellow. You'd give Anon a talking to yourself, but that might only hurt Twilight's friendship with him. Funny, I've never heard a teacher encourage their student to be less determined before. Well, that's not exactly what I said. I'll give it a try. I'll give him space. Alrighty guys, that is going to do it for this one. We still have a long way to go, not even a quarter way done with this one. I'm thinking what I'm going to probably do is do some other fics in addition to this one. So, you know, periodic updates on this one just because it's so long. And then in addition to that, I'm going to be doing some other ones, some other short kind of fun ones. Thank you so much for being here with me. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Smack that like button. And as always, take it easy.